This week on Council Bluffs News, Halloween has hit the metro. The Squirrel Cage Jail opens up at night, allowing the public to see the museum and decide for themselves if it's really haunted. Mall of the Bluffs hosts Spooktacular for little kids. CBTV brings you coverage of the annual trick-or-treat event. And the countdown to Election Day continues. We give you another chance to see the interviews about what mayoral candidates Brent Segrist and Matt Walsh plan to do for Council Bluffs if elected mayor on November 5th. That and more, all on this week's Council Bluffs News. Hello and welcome to this week's Council Bluffs News. I'm Marie Zeitner. Pumpkin patches and haunted houses are the places to be this time of year, and while some may be scary, a local museum claims its ghosts are real. The historic Squirrel Cage Jail opens its doors Saturday, October 26th for nearly 100 people in search for a real spook. The Squirrel Cage Jail itself isn't so scary.
No one's in there, just walk in there.
It's what you can't see that will give you chills. Playing audio captured from previous ghost hunts, Nevermore Paranormal from Omaha intrigues people with evidence captured at investigations of the building.
We've caught the same voice previously. 2 weeks ago we heard it in real time.
The group has been to the jail 7 times and says with friendly ghosts, it's as haunted as it gets.
It's just part of the excitement of coming here is the way things are starting to repeat, to corroborate itself essentially.
At this Halloween tour, museum coordinator Carla Borgela says the building doesn't need gadgets or decorations to scare, since it's already haunted.
We relate it back to the paranormal. We want to keep that original feel and tell you what's actually going on in the building. Instead of having people come in and dress up and scare you, we'll tell you what would really scare you at 2 a.m.
Thoughts, dates, and names line the walls, but according to Borgela, these words are just the beginning of what the former residents have to say today.
Nothing paranormal tonight that anybody caught. But we did get to hear a few screams.
Visitors check out the pie-shaped cells that held up to 6 inmates at a time.
Oh my gosh, that's creepy.
Then it's on to the Juvenile Detention Center, designed for children ages 3 to 13. And finally to solitary confinement, which served as a timeout session for about an hour, but also as a punishment for prisoners for as long as 10 days.
Right here.
It's an incredible marvel to architecture when you figure that this was built in 1885, that the cells rotated around, that it was a fully functional jail, and from the outside it is one of the most beautiful buildings we have in downtown Council Bluffs.
The annual night tour is always on the closest Saturday on or before Halloween. The museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Sundays from 1 to 4. Call if you'd like to schedule a tour. So the scares are here for the Halloween season, but for the youngsters, they look forward to the costumes and candy. Friday, October 25th, Mall of the Bluffs hosts its Spooktacular event. IWTV student Sean Crawford has more.
The spirit of Halloween is among us, and Mall of the Bluffs helps celebrate with Spooktacular.
It's a community event. It's free of charge. It's a trick-or-treating throughout the mall. It's a safe environment for the kids.
The annual spooky event has it all, from face paint to balloons, and most importantly, the treats.
I don't know, Timmy.
Some of the trick-or-treaters have made it a tradition to stop at Spooktacular every year.
I came here ever since I was 8 years old. I really like the monsters.
Newcomers say they love showing off their unique outfits.
This is my first year, having people see my costume and see what I've dressed up as, and getting getting to come to the mall.
The Mall of the Bluffs has hosted Spooktacular every year since it opened in 1986, meaning multiple generations of families have taken part in the fun.
And I used to come here as a child too. Oh geez, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago.
Parents also love the comfortable environment of the mall.
I like that we can come inside. Usually it's cold around this time, so it's nice to have something inside to go to. And it's a safe place. You don't have to worry about walking around neighborhoods deciding whether they're good or bad to take them to.
And we can't forget the most important reason Spooktacular is such a great event, the smile on the children's faces. For your Council Bluffs News, I'm Sean Crawford.
Now for news around the Bluffs. Sponsored by Mr. Ed's Flagpole Company of Council Bluffs, right off Valley View Drive between Madison Avenue and Highway 92. More little kids take a trip through Hitchcock Nature Center's Enchanted Forest Sunday, October 27th. Hitchcock hosts the Halloween hike every year around the holiday, using a theme to educate the kids.
This year, the Enchanted Forest is Scooby-Doo themed, so they solve a mystery along the trail of who has been littering at Hitchcock.
Missouri Valley Drama Club students act as the mystery gang and teach the kids about what can be recycled and ways to do it. After they find a raccoon littered the forest, the kids paint and carve pumpkins as well as take a picture in the mystery machine. A 20-year-old sign recently goes missing at the Squirrel Cage jail. Jim Yoakum of Buildings and Grounds took the sign at the courthouse to make a new one and took the Squirrel Cage sign with it.
It was a surprise, and it took me a couple phone calls to track it down.
Borgala jokes the courthouse stole it, but is very thankful for the new sign she says they would have put off replacing for years. You can visit the Squirrel Cage Jail at 226 Pearl Street. Making a difference in the community is what Panda Inc. is all about. The locally family-owned company operates more than 15 Arby's restaurants in Nebraska and Iowa. For the past 2 years, Panda has teamed up with the Iowa West Foundation and Arby's Foundation to promote Hungry for Happiness, a summer meal program for students. This year, Panda received the Arby's Foundation Inspiring Impact Award for their efforts.
We feel that we were a small part of a very large effort this past summer and this past year, putting together a group of a partnership with the Iowa West Foundation, Hunger Free Heartland, and the Council Bluffs Community Schools to really help make a difference in Council Bluffs with the Summer Meals Program.
During the summer, the organization served nearly 2,200 breakfast meals and more than 3,200 lunches to areas in need. Once again, the mayoral candidates answer questions and talk about their plans for Council Bluffs as the election nears. The Chamber of Commerce invites the public out to the most in-depth discussion to date at the library October 24th to listen to what Brent Segrist and Matt Walsh have to say.
I fully expect to be in that office come January 1.
I know how to make things happen. I know how to get things done. I know how to bring people together.
You can watch the rebroadcast of the full discussion on Channel 17 at 1 and 4:30, or visit cbtv17.com and click on other programming to watch it online. Election Day is November 5th. Coming up on Council Bluffs News, your pets of the week, the Reaver Beat, and a second chance to see the mayoral candidate interviews in CBTV studios. Stay tuned.
At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, our goal is to help you, your families, and your businesses grow and prosper for generations. We take pride in our community, whether it's volunteering our time or helping individuals, families, and businesses succeed. We provide you with the personal service and attention you deserve. With over 220 years of banking experience, decisions are made locally. We are Council Bluffs people operating at Council Bluffs Bank to help Council Bluffs be a better place to work and live. Council Bluffs Savings Bank, hometown banking, the way it used to be. Member FDIC.
Your path to a rewarding career in healthcare begins here at Iowa Western Community College. Iowa Western's new nursing center offers state-of-the-art instruction in nursing, surgical technology, medical training, and emergency medical services.
Iowa Western Community College has a state-of-the-art nursing simulation center.
Human simulators and expert instructors are your keys to success at Iowa Western Community College. Learn how you can get a quality and affordable education in the growing field of healthcare at iwcc.edu.
Welcome back. Time now for Pets of the Week. Sponsored by Mad Cow Paintball of Louisville, Nebraska.
Hi, my name is Misty Bino, and I'm a volunteer with Solace, support our local animal shelter. This friendly little dog here is Casper. Casper's about 10 months old. He is a boxer pointer mix. He was surrendered here. He doesn't do very good with children, but he is a very sweet boy and he knows a couple commands already. So if you are interested in Casper, his file number is 1322. This is Tess. Tess is about 4.5 years old. She's a German Shepherd mix. She was surrendered here from the shelter. She does not get along with larger dogs, but she does great with small dogs. She is good with kids. She has had a lot of potty training. She may need a little help, but they said she's mostly potty trained. If you are interested in adopting Tess, this sweet little girl, her file number is 1425. This young girl here is Autumn. Autumn came in with Sophie, who was on last week. They were both found at Chapel Ridge here in Council Bluffs. And Autumn is about between 5 and 6 months old. She's a brown tabby and peach, little peach in there. And she is a very sweet little girl. So if you are interested in adopting Autumn, her file number is 1674. This is Freddie. Freddie is the largest cat in the shelter here. He looks like he might have some Maine Coon. He is a very sweet boy. He is front declawed, and he was found by Woodbury Apartments as a stray. So if you are missing Freddie, or if you are looking for a nice big lap cat, he's a great guy. His file number is 0938. And just remember, with Halloween around the corner, to keep your pets inside and away from the doors, because with all of the extra foot traffic, it can make it one of the busiest days for stray animals. So keep your pets safe and keep them inside. And have a happy Halloween.
Joining me in studio now is mayoral candidate Brent Segrist. Thank you for being here, Brent.
Happy to be here.
All right, Brent, go ahead, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I was born and raised in Council Bluffs, graduate of St. Albert High School, and I went to college at Dana College in Blair, Nebraska. I was a teacher for 18 years, but probably of more importance is I spent 18 years in the Iowa House of Representatives representing Council Bluffs, and I left that job in 2002 after serving 10 years as Majority Leader and Speaker of the Iowa House. And since then, I've been the Executive Director of the area education agencies all across the state. But I have a wife, Valerie, and 2 children, Evan, who's a freshman at University of Iowa, and my daughter, Harriet, who's in 9th grade at St. Albert.
Very, very busy man.
It has been busy, yes.
Okay, some of the topics that have been coming up are economic growth, the public safety, traffic on West Broadway, but tell me about your biggest concern.
I don't know if I'd call it a concern, but I think after 25 years as the same mayor, Tom Hannafin's done a wonderful job. He deserves all the accolades he's receiving. But once you have somebody in a position for that long, I think it's good to have a fresh vision, a fresh eye come in and look at things. So my main, again, not concern, but my main focus will be to come in and kind of look at the departments and see what we can do better and try to really get more aggressive about some of our efforts surrounding economic development, which is a concern, if you will, making sure we're doing our very best job of public safety and those types of issues. But I think right now it's time to really go in and look at the departments, and they do a good job now, and how can we up our game and do even better.
And how will that help move Council Bluffs forward?
Well, for example, I think the departments, department heads all seem to do a great job. But what I would do is come in and say, number one, to each department, what are we doing well? Number two, what do we get complaints about? What don't we do well? And how do we improve it? And three, and very importantly, is where do we want to be in 5 years? Kind of some strategic forward thinking. And then fourthly, and again, I think this is important too, to look at the department head and say, what are we doing now that we really don't need to do? And try to refocus our efforts on whatever the main emphasis is for the Parks Department or the Finance Department or Public Health or whatever it may be.
Yeah. And again, Mayor Tom Hannafin has done a great job. He's been mayor for more than 20 years. How will you fill his shoes if you get elected on November 5th?
Well, I mean, obviously Tom's done a great job, and everybody says big shoes to fill, and they will to a degree, but everybody's different. I've got a lot of chief executive experience. I ran the Iowa House for 10 years. I'm running a statewide organization now, and so you can't worry about what the previous person did. Everybody is replaced. When I left as Speaker of the House, somebody replaced me. I'll just bring my own talent set and my own skill set to that job and try to be very open and very engaged in the community and be aggressive in moving us forward in areas like economic development.
So will you change a lot or not so much? You'll just keep it what Tom Hannafin has done?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, some people say you just want to change things. I'm not going to change things just to change them. Again, I think the city's in good shape. Tom deserves a lot of credit for that. But again, I think we can, you know, up our efforts in some of the areas. So any changes that take place will be positive changes, not just change because we want to change. So we'll look at wherever we're at in each department, what the plans are for the future, and if that requires changing some things we're doing and being more aggressive, we'll do that. But it's not just let's change because it's a new person.
Just a new person taking over and just keeping on what you've been doing?
Yeah, you know, the challenge in this election is the city of Council Bluffs is in pretty good shape, and you know, kudos to Tom for that. But again, whenever anybody leaves, you bring in a different mindset, and so I think a lot of times you get settled into a status quo, you feel comfortable with what you're doing, and it's good, but different things can be done in a different way. So again, engaging the department heads more. Taking, for example, one little thing is taking the budget. We haven't had one question on the budget, I don't think, throughout this entire campaign. And I'd like to, for example, have public hearings out in the city, not in City Hall, at night, and have the budget directors come in and present to the people so they know where their $108 million is being spent. Those types of changes. Nothing wrong now, but I think we need to engage the community more. If we're going to really move the community up and get it the esteem and the admiration it really deserves, I think we have to engage the citizens more.
All right. Well, thank you, Brent, for being here.
Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to the other mayoral candidate, Matt Walsh. Stick around. You're watching Council Bluffs News.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to Council Bluffs News. In the previous segment, we spoke with mayoral candidate Brent Segrist, and now we're speaking with mayoral candidate Matt Walsh. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Marie. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. First of all, just tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I professionally am a commercial banker. I work for Security National Bank in Omaha. Work with businesses, help finance and advise businesses for their business success, and so I've got an extensive background in that area. And in addition to that, I've been on the city council for 18 years, and so I've got an extensive background in city government.
So you've been waiting for this opportunity for a while.
Well, it's 18 years, as a matter of fact. You know, I've always been interested in Council Bluffs. I'm a 4th generation Council Bluffs citizen, and have always wanted to give back to the community, and so done that in a variety of ways, and excited about serving as its mayor.
Okay. Some of the topics you guys have talked about at these forums are economic growth, public safety, the traffic on West Broadway, but I want to know, what is your biggest concern?
Well, economic growth, I think, drives many of the other issues. In Iowa, we've had a very onerous property tax law. It's been very difficult to get economic development on this side of the river. An identical building in Iowa would pay more than twice the property taxes that a similar and that similar, identical building in Omaha would pay. So it's pretty tough, even with economic development incentives, to get people to build over here. Now, we've seen a lot of retail growth in Council Bluffs, and that's because retailers need to be close to their customers. But industrial, commercial, warehousing, manufacturing buildings just haven't come like they would in a normal community. What that does then is put an unfair reliance on residential property taxpayers. So if we get more economic development, we get more property tax from the commercial side of the tax equation, which means we can lower the taxes on the residential side. So that really is one of the key factors into the future growth of the city of Council Bluffs.
And how do you think that will move Council Bluffs forward?
Well, again, when a community is healthy, it has about 50% commercial property tax, 50% residential. We have 32% commercial, and it makes it difficult for residential property owners to pay. They actually pay 54% of the property tax, and the difference in the math is related to the property tax rollback. When you do that math, it ends up they pay about 54% when they should only be paying 50%. So it really has put us at an imbalance. The Iowa legislature addressed that in the last legislative session. They're going to roll back, rather than do total property tax reform, which they probably should have done. They've complicated a little, but they've rolled back commercial property tax, and that should help us recruit some more commercial property.
Okay. Mayor Tom Hannafin has been mayor of Council Bluffs for more than 20 years. If you are elected on the November 5th, how will you fill his shoes?
Well, I've been there for 18 years. I've sat in many of the meetings that he sat in, worked on all the issues he's worked on in the last 18 years. I'm extremely familiar with Council Bluffs, the issues, the progress we've made, and the progress that still needs to be made. I've worked with the city staff, so I'm very familiar with all the city staff. I just really have a well-rounded background, not only from my city government experience, but from my commercial banking experience. I understand financial statements. I can read a balance sheet. I can read an income statement. I understand risk management, and I understand finance. So cities use a lot of bonding, and I certainly understand that. So all those things in one package, I think, really will help me on day one be ready to step into the job.
Well, thank you, Matt, for being here.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Here's what's happening at Iowa Western.
What's happening, Reavers? I'm DH here with another edition of Reaver Beat. In this week's episode, we're going to take a look at some fake singers and some other events that's happening during homecoming week. Let's get started.
The third annual lip sync competition is more than crazy. It is a fun event. The competition allows students to show their hidden talents on stage along with a few dance moves. Okay, more than a few. And just like every competition, there's a winner. The winners from last year, the College Bros, make another appearance to defend their title against some new challengers.
I didn't really have that much confidence going into it, but we got up on stage and then it all came back.
Which means this competition is a tough one.
I think it was Joe, the second place guy. Yeah, I was pretty sure he was gonna win.
The College Bros are able to hold off and beat Joe. Judges say it was a close race.
He danced like crazy, man. He had some sick moves.
The champs win the title again and had one thing to say about being back-to-back winners.
It feels pretty good, you know.
Thanks, Caleb, and congratulations to the College Bros.
The Coach Joe Show goes on the road during homecoming week to record the CBTV 17 show Game Day Style. Students, including cheerleaders, show up to show off their Reaver spirit as Coach Scott Strohmeyer breaks down the highlights from the Kenny Cup game. During the show, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations, Don Kohler, had the honors of predicting the winner of the big homecoming game against Ellsworth. Reaver fans packed the gym for the pep rally later on in homecoming week. All the fall coaches speak at the pep rally to get fans fired up for the homecoming football game. Also got the chance to talk with two Reaver fans about the pep rally. Here is sophomore John Jude.
Man, it was amazing. The performances was great.
I like seeing the college bros come out here, and Joe, with that John Legend song, man, it was something serious.
You may have noticed John has some art on his face.
Well, I went with Trio to an event, and it was some face painting.
I found another member of Trio who also liked the pep rally and found the speeches inspiring.
Out of the speeches from the coaches, who you think did the best?
I think all of them did a good job, but the football one, probably.
Thanks, John and Rissa. Iowa Western's annual chili cook-off comes at the right time with the turning temperatures. Culinary arts students take their talent for the spicy stuff to the football game. River fans judge the best chili, and students who call themselves a rising stars win the contest. The event is a fundraiser for the Culinary Arts Department. Congratulations. Do you love River basketball? Why don't you help out the games? They need a scorebook keeper, scoreboard, shot clock, and game clock operators. Contact the athletic director Brenda Hampton at bhampton@iwcc.edu. On November 1st, the women's basketball team will face off at 5 p.m. in Canesville Arena. The holiday season will be here before you know it. The Horticulture Club is creating handmade evergreen arrangements. Take your pick from candy canes, rathers, Garther, and more. Go see Jenna Stobovi in Dodge Hall, room 1205. That's it for this edition of the River Beat. Remember to like us on Facebook, and if you have any stories, be sure to send us a message. I'm DH for the River Beat. Stay smooth, stay safe.
Time now for our weekly events calendar. We may be asleep at night, but some critters are wide awake in the moonlight. Hitchcock Nature Center dedicates Kinder Nature on Sunday, November 3rd to nocturnal animals. Children ages 3 to 5 are encouraged to come out and learn about the animals, how they find food, and use their senses to find their way. The event starts at 1:30. Cost is $5 per child. Call 712-545-3283 for more details. The Rails West Museum is hosting a trick-or-treat night on Halloween from 5 to 8. Kids can get candy from the rail cars, and from 8:30 to 10, scary stories will be shared. Cost is $2 per child for the trick-or-treating, $5 per person for the scary stories. The Rails West Museum is located at 1512 South Main Street in Council Bluffs. And of course, CBTV 17 would like to remind everyone to be safe on Halloween. A few tips worth repeating from the CBPD: carry a flashlight, wear a fitted costume as to not trip, only go to houses with the outside light on, stay on the sidewalk and only cross the street at intersections. You can also visit safekids.org/tip/Halloween safety tips for more ways to stay safe. Thanks for watching this week's Council Bluffs News. If you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, shoot us an email at cbtv@iwcc.edu. You can give us a call at 712-325-3312, or we're always on Facebook at facebook.com/cbtv17. For your Council Bluffs News, I'm Marie Zeitner. See you next week.